So the next one we're going to look at is the constant proportionality and graphing y equals mx plus b. So we talked about this at in the very first semester. Okay, so this is slope-intercept form that we talked about. So the main thing we're going to talk about, constant of proportionality, is on the left-hand side. Okay, constant of proportionality, remember, this is the thing that we talked about that is all the things. Constant of proportionality is your unit rate, your change in y over change in x, y over x. It's all the things that we talked about. So right here, it says y equals kx. K is the same as it is on this side, which is the m. K and m are the same thing, okay? You remember we replaced everything for that word, right? Does that start ringing a bell? Okay? So k equals y over x. So in this spot right here, we're going to say k equals y over x. Well, y is 5 and x is 20. What would that reduce to? 1/4, right? So if you go on further down the line, k is 8 over 32, which would also reduce to 1/4. So it should be the same all the way through. It is a constant of proportionality if it is. If it's not, then it doesn't have a constant of proportionality. So this one's going to be 14 over 56. Okay, so that's going to reduce also to 1/4. So if I were to write this in this form, because this is what it's asking, y equals kx, I would say y equals 1/4 x. Okay, so now what that means, okay, what that means is telling me that if I put this equation here, I can plug in x and get y. So, right, I'm going to show you the example. So, if I plug in x, y equals 1/4. In this case, x is 20. Okay, what's 1/4 of 20? Well, if I do my math, 1/4 times 20 over 1, I can cross simplify. 1 times 5, 1 times 1. I get my 5. Do you understand? So if I plug that back into the equation, I plug in x to the equation, I should get my y, okay? Do you see where I'm going with that? Yes or no? See. Okay, so look at the next one. So k equals y over x. So y over x. So on this one, I'm going to put 3 over 1.5. What does that reduce to? What? 2. Yeah, it reduces to 2. 2 over 1 or 2. Okay? So 5 over 2.5 reduces to... Do you see how I'm going along and doing each one just to show you how it's working? Okay, the next one is 7 over 3.5, which reduces to 2. Okay, so all of these reduce to 2. So 2 is our k, so plug it in our formula up here. Y equals kx, so y equals 2x. Now we're going to check it, okay? So y equals 2, x on the first one is 1.5, so 2 times 1.5. 2 times 1.5 is 3. Okay, would it work on the second one? Y equals 2 times 2.5. That y equals 5. Did it work? Yes. Would it work every time? It should, yes. If it doesn't, then it doesn't have a constant of proportionality there. Okay? My last one on this side, okay, is right here. So we have our k, which is y over x. So we're going to do y over x. And we're going to say equals 1.2 over 2.4, which is, if you reduce that, it would go 1/2, okay? You could do 1/2 or what? 0.5, Either or, it is the same, so it does not matter, and they are interchangeable, okay? So my next one is y equals, or k equals y over x, okay? That reduces to the same thing, 1 out of 2, because half of 3.6 is 1.8, and then 2.4 over 4.8, which reduces to 1/2 or 0.5, okay? So how am I going to write my equation? Y equals 1/2 x or y equals 0.5x. Okay? I'm going to show you why this is true. I'm going to plug the first one in. Am I going too fast? Okay. So y equals, let's do 0.5 because y'all like decimals better. 0.5 times 2.4. Okay, so 2.4 times 0.5, 1, 2, 1, 2, y equals 1.2. So did that work? Yes? Okay, so I checked it. I did it and then I checked it. Okay? Starting to ring a bell from first semester? Should be like review, okay? So coming over here, okay, slope-intercept form. Okay, so this is the same. This little number is that k we just figured out how to find, okay? Your k equals your m, okay? So, steps. Start by graphing the y-intercept. Okay, so remember, I want you to remember these letters. So, k equals m, we just put that. And what is that? That's your what? Does anybody remember? We called it something. Our slope. Okay? So, what is our b? Anybody remember? It's that y-intercept. Okay? Remember that y-intercept means where it crosses the y-axis. So, this is your x-axis. This is your y-axis, okay? So that should be, remembering keying that in. X-axis is horizontal, y-axis is vertical, okay? So the steps say start by graphing the y-intercept. This is your B, your y-intercept. So we're going to go start at 0 right here in the middle and go to -1. So I'm going to put a dot on -1, okay? Now, then graph your slope, m, up or down, then left or right. Remember, we rise before we run. What else? What else did we say? We rise. You're going to go up or down first, and then left or right. Okay. So up or down, up. So it's going to be rise 1 and run 4. Okay. So rise 1. And run 1, 2, 3, 4. So rise 1, run 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, do you see how that's kind of working out? Okay, we can even go the other way. We can go down 1 and then go back 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so remember, then we go through and we fill in the line, put our arrows on it, and that's going to be our line that fits that slope-intercept form. Okay? Starting to refresh your little memory we got there. Guys, 90% of these questions can be solved with this piece right here. Okay? If you'll find the y-intercept, if you know that B is your y-intercept, if you will go find the y-intercept and say, okay, this crosses at -1, so I got to find the answer with -1, that's going to eliminate over half of your choices right there, okay? Because that's going to be the first line of defense, okay? So let's do this last one. Okay, where did we start? Start by graphing your y-intercept. Says that right there. Start by graphing your y-intercept. So graph your y-intercept. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a dot right there. Okay? My B is equal to 3. Now, what is my M? What? Negative 2 over 1, because we need to put it in that rise over run form, okay? So we're going to, now negative makes a difference. I can still go up, but instead of going to the right, I'm going to go to the left, okay? Or I can go down and to the right. Whatever, you're doing the opposite button. Up and then over 1. Up and then over 1. Up and then over 1. Okay? How you feel about that? Okay, so we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Remember, y-intercept is important. Your rise over your run is important. All of those things are very important. You need to know those letters. It's going to be a big key to solving these kind of questions.